everybody, welcome back to another video by Jay Bowman. Today I'm talking about one of my favourite synths, which is the Mask1 bitmask synthesizer from Kodamo. And today I'm just going to do a very brief video. I'm going to play the filter and see what kind of sounds we can get out of pinging the filter with a little bit of noise. I think it's a very pretty sound, so let's explore how we go about doing that. So that's what the video is going to show. So I've got my oscilloscope here and let's get started. So I'm on an init patch, which, as you know, starts with a single oscillator playing a sawtooth wave. So what we want to do is turn off the sawtooth. So the Mask1 is quite unusual in that each oscillator, each sound source has its own envelope. So I have to turn down the level for oscillator 1. Oscillator 2, the level is 0. So that's why you hear no sound. If I go to the noise envelope, I want to turn that up. And I'm actually going to turn it up to maximum. But what I want to do is just ping the filter and hear what sound that produces. So I'm going into the envelope settings, attack 0, so that's the quickest attack, that's what we want. Decay, I'm going to go down to 2. We want a very quick attack and a very quick delay, just enough to ping the filter to get it resonating. I'm going to turn the sustain off altogether. And I don't think I need any release, but we can always come back to that if that needs adjusting. So let's go to the filter next. So at the moment we can see the cutoff is on its maximum frequency, so that's 127, that's the maximum value. What I'm going to do is go down to halfway, so let's go to 64. And by default, the filter is on low pass mode. I want to change it to band pass mode. And I then want to turn up the resonance so we can hear the filter being pinged and self-resonating. So let's do that. So 30 is the maximum. As I turn it up, you can hear that resonance coming through. So now we're at the maximum resonance, which is 30. And you can hear the filter being pinged there. Now, it's not tracking the keyboard, so what we want to do next is go to tracking, and by default it's on 0. Let's turn it up to 100. I'm going to turn the volume up because it's actually quite a low sound in terms of volume. It's a very pretty sound, in my opinion. Let's go back to that noise parameter. And I think let's see if we can make the decay even shorter, because at the moment we can hear the noise just poking through the resonant filter. I've toned it down to 0. So that's the basic patch. Let's have a little play around, see what other options we've got. So there's no filter envelope at the moment. In the other options in the filter, we've got the choice between 12 dB per octave and 24 dB per octave, and then some further options. So let's have a listen to how those affect the sound. So that's the 12 dB per octave. The 24 dB per octave just sounds a bit less clear. To me, I think I prefer the sound of the 12 dB per octave. So as well as the 24 dB per octave, you've got these other options. You've got a fixed frequency low pass filter, which we can go through by turning the value knob. So again, that's just making the sound more muffled, so I don't think I would go with those options. Let's try, if we keep turning it, then we have a fixed high pass filter at a fixed frequency, which is another 12 dB per octave. So we have the 12 dB per octave moving filter, which we've set the cutoff frequency at 63 or 64. And then we have a second high pass filter. So again, that means at lower frequencies, the filter just won't be audible. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set the filter back on the standard 12 dB per octave mode. Okay, so that's the patch. So one of the things I found from experimenting earlier is that although we've got tracking at 100%, it's not actually following the frequency. If I play a C here, and maybe I can show this on my tuner. Although I'm playing a C, it says I'm playing a B. So let's go to the general mode, and here you've got settings which affect the patch as a whole. So you've got volume, and in fact I'm going to increase the volume because pinging the filter like this produces quite a low volume patch, so I'm just going to increase the volume there. And then you have a semitone setting, so you can transpose the patch as a whole. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to transpose that up one semitone. So now, when I play a C, is just about playing at a C. But actually, it seems like it's playing a couple of octaves higher than it should be, so maybe I should transpose it down further. So what we're going to do is go down to 23, or minus 23, I should say. So we've transposed that down 2 octaves. Okay, so we've got the patch sounding nice. Now let's have a look at the oscilloscope. So obviously, as you'd expect, pinging the filter like this, or a self-resonating filter, produces a very clean sine wave. I'm actually going to save the patch at this point, so let's just call it J, let's call it ping. Okay. So what next? Let's add some effects. I'm just going to add the default delay. Okay, so I'll save that. So we've got, we're just a short ping at the moment in terms of the noise envelope setting. What happens if we change the envelope setting? So actually we have more of a slow attack and a slow decay. So that produces interesting results. I'm going to turn the sustain off, or keep the sustain. Actually, let's have some sustain. Let's have everything on 12 and just see. So that is clipping. So even though the patch was quite quiet on the previous settings I had when I was just pinging the filter, you can hear now that having that kind of longer, more sustained sound is producing a lot lower, a lot louder sound. That's still too loud, so I'm going to turn it down to 20. So if I push the compare button, we can compare the short pingy ping with the longer envelope. So that's a more interesting sound, I think. So I'm going to save that as well. I'll just save it in the next slot up. I'll call it J Blow, because it's more, obviously the sound of the noise is more prominent there. There we go. And I need to turn this patch down because it is overloading the outputs. Okay, so we've come up with the basic self-resonating filter patch. Let's try a few more tweaks. We've added some effects, we've added delay. Let's hear if adding so that's chorus. Let's try the bit crusher effect. See what that adds. So I'll scroll through the bit crusher effects and see what difference each setting makes. I think it's not necessarily the effect that you'd want for this patch, but in some settings, just adding that effect really adds a bit of bite to it. And obviously I've got it at the most extreme setting. I've got it at maximum bit crusher effect. You can reduce that and just kind of adjust the wet dry mix if you want. So the bit crush settings above value 8, they have an LFO built in. Which is modulating the bit crush value or the frequency automatically. That's very atmospheric, number 13. So I think the bit crusher effect works well with those. Let's have a quick look at the ring modulator. As you increase the ring modulator setting, it increases the speed. Interesting. So we're getting into the audio rates now. So this has just been a very quick and simple look at a very simple patch. I say again and again that the filter in the Mask1 despite being 100% digital is really lovely, and being able to play it this way, in my opinion, really adds a lot to this synth. I mean, this is just using the filter. I mean, obviously we're hearing a bit of noise here as well, and the noise feature on the Mask1 is very useful as well. I've not gone into the way you can change the frequency and the impact that would have on the sound, but hopefully you can tell from this short demo, there's a lot to be explored here with the filter. Changing the frequency of the noise, let me just do that quickly. Which has the effect of increasing the resonance, so that's something you need to be careful of. But there's a way of tracking the noise level to the keyboard as well, so that's another feature that if I had more time I would go into. And then obviously in terms of the filter, I'm using the bandpass mode, but you can get very nice results out of the low pass mode as well. There you can hear it just has a slightly different quality to it. It's cutting out more of the highs, as you'd expect. And there's the high pass mode. Back on bandpass. In a way, this reminds me of the Ambient pad I made. I did a video which I'll put a link to here. And part of that pad was a relatively conventional filtered sawtooth wave, but then it was layered with another patch which used bitmask transitions to add kind of high-pitched interest to the patch. And what I'm seeing here is that you could have a similar effect using these bit crusher effects with the built-in LFO. And doing that would mean you wouldn't even need a layered patch, although obviously that would mean you couldn't use the chorus, for instance, which is one of the other options in FX1. So that's all I wanted to show on this video. If you've made it this far, thank you very much for watching. Please give me a like and a subscribe, and I will catch you on the next video. Goodbye.